Bismillah. Every region in this world has a unique way of making bread. Roti is the common name given to bread in India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Yet the size and style of rotis differ. While in India, they make the smallest roti that poofs up, in Punjab, Pakistan, a bigger roti is liked. I'm making some paratha today so my friend Elizabeth and I can enjoy a homemade fresh breakfast. I'm making some curried potatoes and eggs to go with that. We start with kneading the dough. My mummy used to say, no matter how much you study, you can't present your degree for supper. You must learn how to make roti. Abu's argument was that let my daughters study. With their degrees, they'll be able to earn money and hire maids to make roti. They were of two different viewpoints, and both were right. I'll be showing you how to make paratha in three different ways, from kneading the flour to resting it, rolling the ball to flattening and cooking it on a flat pan. You will learn everything. I always eyeball the amount of flour that I need to knead. Add salt, some oil, and use water to knead the dough. Many times when I knead the dough, it takes me back to the communal tandoor that I had seen in my childhood, each time when we visited our uncles, aunts, and cousins. Once the atta or the dough is ready, it's done. Let it sit for 10 minutes. And by the way, by done, it means you really knead it, punch it, and put a lot of effort into making it into a nice, smooth dough. Then let it sit for 10 minutes. Pull a small handful of dough out and roll it into a ball. It takes practice to make a perfect dough ball. Flatten it, roll it out, pour some melted butter or ghee. Fold it as you see in the video. So one flap up and then the other flap and then the last two ends together. So this is your base for square paratha. The second paratha is the one where you cut one side and roll it into a cone after applying butter and everything. Then you press the cone down to make a paratha base, another ball. The third one is where you flatten the dough and pour butter on top and keep rolling it into a thin snake. Then you shape that snake into a ball. And all these three kinds of bases for three different parathas, they need to sit for a few minutes before you actually start rolling out a paratha. My tawa or flat pan is at medium heat. While I was ready to make paratha, my husband called for a fresh roti as he was hungry. So that gets precedence over everything else. Using the same dough, I made a plain roti. With the right heat and pressing down half cooked roti, You will get nice golden, reddish, brownish spots on the roti, which is just perfect. Just make sure that you don't get any of the black spots on. They just don't taste good. This is your plain roti. Okay. Let's roll out the square paratha. Make sure you maintain the shape as you roll it out. Make sure you get the right size as well. There are so many little things that you have to watch for when you make paratha. So you have to eyeball that when you're flattening the bread or the paratha out, it is the same size that fits on the tawa. Pour some melted butter on top. My tawa got a little too hot, and you can see the darker spots on my paratha. That's not a good sign. But it wasn't too bad. But if I was in a paratha making competition, I would lose a point or two for having the darker spot. But you can see the layers in my paratha. So now do the other side. If you have to remove the tawa for a little bit, you can do that just to maintain the right temperature. And when you keep stirring the paratha, that helps making it evenly cooked. Now I'm rolling the cone ball paratha. Make sure your pan's nice and hot, not too hot. When one side is semi-cooked, you pour some butter on top. You flip it over, you keep stirring it, and you make sure that it's evenly cooked. You can use a spoon to move the paratha, spatula to move the paratha. I can do it with bare hands too. It comes with practice. I remember the time when my mom used to do it with her bare hands, and we would be like, do your fingers not burn? And now I can do it, and my kids look at me with amazement, saying that the same thing that I used to say to mom. The last paratha I'm making here is the one that is the snake paratha. Again, one side semi-cooked. When it changes color, you pour some butter on top, you flip it over, you stir it, making sure it gets evenly cooked. And your mom was there. She was there in your spirit. Yeah. I started my day with going to the graveyard.
I saw that you were with your family.
And now a taste testing by my friend Elizabeth.
Trying my paratha. Mashallah. I'm so excited.
I want to see your expressions.
So good. Mashallah.
Although paratha can be enjoyed with achchar, with lassi, with yogurt, with chai, but we are going to make some aloo ande to go with our paratha. You stir some onions, and again, there's no measurement. I took a medium-sized onion, some green chili, some ginger, and then I'm cutting some cilantro here. That's going to go on top of our aloo ande.
I promised her I'm going to make a video on how to make paratha, and then you'll have it.
You keep stirring it, and then you add the spices. There's some ground coriander, turmeric, hot pepper, and salt. Just 4 spices. You can add some cumin seeds as well. They taste really well in this too. So keep stirring it. Add a little bit of like a spray of water, and keep stirring. Then add some tomatoes. At this stage, once the tomatoes are a little tender, at this stage, if you want to add eggs and be done with it, you can do that too. On the other side, I was making some bison patty that my friend Elizabeth wanted to film as well. Thank you, Elizabeth. And yeah, once you put the potatoes in, let them simmer. Once they're nice and tender, nice and soft, add the eggs. Stir it a little bit, cover it, and let them cook.
Because he can't go without having someone take care of him.
Our bison patty is ready, and so is aloo and we're going to dish out everything and enjoy it as our Sunday brunch. This breakfast is made in the memory of my beloved mum, whom I lost only 6 months ago. She used to make the best paratha in the whole world, and she loved to feed people. Each time we went to our village, everyone wanted to eat her parathas. Growing up, a fried egg and paratha was my standard breakfast every morning, along with a cup of chai. Kids these days do not eat breakfast, and moms don't have time to make paratha. But I know my mother, for all my life, she would wait by the door until we were ready to eat. When we would come, she would make the freshest paratha.
I'm so shaky. The plate.
Just don't make it fancy, right? Spoons and forks.
Cilantro. This much is enough, right?
Alhamdulillah, Elizabeth and I enjoyed a yummy breakfast together. And I'm grateful for having such a wonderful mother who taught me how to make parathas. Thank you all for joining me in making parathas. How often you make them, and which one is your favorite recipe of all? Share in comments. Thanks for watching, and may your day be filled with love, laughter, and peace.